right now, right? So I'm sure some of you probably already know about this, and some of you have never heard of it, but if you get into the Enki and Enlil thing, the whole Anunnaki thing, Enki's supposed to be Lucy, and you can call him Satan, the serpent, the adversary, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him. Lucy, good old Lucy, but like the fact that so many people automatically just decide to start like worshiping him and feeling like that they think they're smart, okay? They think they're smarter. Like they feel like, oh, well, I'm woke. Which is funny because there's like a lot of like alt-right woke Luciferian worshippers right now, which is really odd. And some all very left too, because like you just have the Luciferians that are like, oh, I also worship the Morrigan and I believe in freedom for women, and like said the vag is free, right? Because all of the monotheistic religions enforce rape and stuff, and I don't. And it's like, really? Because I mean, if you look at Lucy's history, the track record here of Enki, it's like, technically, if you believed the stories, he's fucking his kids, okay? Like, what? Like, how? This is where men's, like, own perverted idea of, like, love and lust has got them so screwed up that they don't know their right from their left, and they're, which head is the head that they think with. Like, they have, which head is the heart is the head is the heart, the head of the dick is also the heart. Like, they have no clue what they're freaking doing with their lives. Like, Now, am I saying that Enlil's great? No. If you look at all, I can't even believe I'm going here, because it, like, so irritated me when you can see, like, the how do I say, the white privilege oozing off of the, I don't want to say just white privilege either. I want to say the white ruling class privilege, like, oozing off of people like Laura Eisenhower and all of these people that are like arguing over which bloodline is better, or saying they're not arguing, they just want to listen to different viewpoints. And don't get mad at me because one person sides with Enlil over Enki, and it's like, oh my god, like, this is the same woman that is like, peace and love and don't judge. And I'm like, okay, like, how many old men, molested you? Like, did you like it? Did you just decide that it was cool? Like, do you participate? Because there's a time when you fucking judge, okay? There is a time when you actually decide to lay down the fucking law. No, you don't peace and love, and let's not blame. Let's not be negative. I think it says every pedophile ever. Like, grow up. Like, I'm so tired of the people that are born with silver spoons in their mouths telling other people how to perceive life. What perception, what lens you should be wearing over your eyeballs. It's so irritating. But anyway, this toxic positive stuff's gotta go. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, and again, it's so dangerous. It's weird because I had just done one recording about men doing magic, and like how how dangerous it is for them to be doing it, and the reasons why. And I didn't get in a whole lot into like exclusions for like animistic cultures, indigenous cultures, like shamanic cultures and whatnot, because if you have like a long bloodline of shamans and everything, and you're a man, then obviously you're probably more in tune with nature, and you're not doing it the way that these, I don't know, if you were to trace it back to the same old bloodlines that go back to the Sumerian stuff, they're the ones that do magic that's really more like manipulation, like where they have to literally be so obsessively, they treat it like a recipe, okay? And like natural magic, like if you have the gift naturally and you're on the right currents and you're in tune with the divine, you don't have to, like, yes, us women can whip together, like, crafty recipes. It's true. We can go grab stuff out of the kitchen and make, you know, amazing protection work or something. But, like, these guys literally, I don't know. It's like they all want to be Merlin, but they don't really, I don't know. They're just, like, pathetic. But anyway. And they don't have the authority to be doing it, so it's all for selfish reasons. Like, that's who I was, like, talking about, you know. But, again, I didn't have my notes because I'm driving, because I have a long commute, so sometimes I can't cover everything all in one go. But here's the thing is, like, first off, I don't know why anyone just automatically believes what this one guy interpreted of Enki and Enlil. Like, most of what he wrote was fabricated. And then his supposed translations were, like, just reinterpretations, you know? And so he's not really who he claimed to be. And he's also doesn't have the authority to interpret these things. But, you know, people take things and run with it. Just like the whole starseed thing and the whole, like, what is it? Like, you know, everyone's obsessed with the Pleiadians and all of this stuff. But if you trace the roots to that, it goes back to, like, racism and things. And oh my God, I feel so bad for the few people who actually expose that, because they get ripped to shreds by the supposed positive, let's not blame and judge crowd. I mean, ripped to shreds. You're so close-minded and you don't understand. I am a starseed, bitch. You know, and it's like, oh my God, like, okay, what happened to your positive vibes? Like, they just kind of disappeared for a moment. Like, I'm pretty sure you just ate him and chewed him up like a Leviathan or something in Supernatural. Like, that's how freaking monstrous you just became. And, like, some of these people are actually that vicious over Lucifer, which is just laughable, you know? And I know how some people have even brought up that Lucifer is really more of a term. So is Satan. You know, Satan means adversary. And, like, Lucifer is really more of a term. And people are like, yeah, he's the day star, so he's really Jesus. And I don't know. I could get into all that. But it's just, like, an irritation to me. Because first off, you know them by their fruit. And if you were to believe the stories of Enki that had been told in recent years, and even the ones that are ancient stories, like, so people are believing that he created us and then fell in love with many of us drop dead gorgeous babes and put his dick in us because he loved us that much. For our God so loved us that he put his dick in us on repeat. Yeah, that sounds like the kind of God I want to worship. He's full of knowledge, you know. He's that serpent that was in the tree of knowledge. And, you know, mean old religion that tried to keep us away from the tree of life. This, boo, you know, we're so mad. They tried to keep knowledge from us. And it's like, listen, whatever happened to common sense? Because, you know, knowledge without common sense is deadly. That's probably one reason why, you know, some people preach against it. And so many people say, oh, well, no, it's religion trying to keep us from knowledge. And I just find that to be bullshit. I'm not saying the Adam and Eve story is accurate. I mean, there's tons of proof that it is a retelling of more ancient Sumerian texts and whatnot. But what I am saying is that the great creator kind of has a way of using everything and making very valid points in everything. Even the closed-mindedness, the narrowness, and the political agendas of men can't see that they're just tools, and that the great creator has a way of, like, you know, working things out. And I've always seen, as much as people are obsessed with knowledge, the tree of life versus the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's not just the tree of knowledge. Like, they always cut off the rest of it, of good and evil. It's because when you're looking for sources outside of yourself to know the difference in between right and wrong, you're already done. Like, you're already dead, okay? That's why it's going to bring death. You're already fucking dead. Because you're looking outside of yourself. Look at all, I'm hoping I'll post it before this one, but it's the one where I'm going over, like, how to spot fake channels, all these channeling, like, charlatans. That's you looking for answers outside of yourself all the time. And it's okay to seek wisdom and knowledge outside of yourself. But if you feel like you have to do that in order to know right from wrong, you're fucked. You're fucked, because you're not even using your inner compass. You're not using your divine connection to your creator. He's inside of you. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. You know, your intuition, your instincts, like, you don't want to use those. Those are no good. You don't want to eat from the tree of life and experience life and make mistakes and actually just live for the moment in peace and union with your maker. You would much rather, go seek a bunch of, like, hermetic magic and try to figure out all of this other stuff because men said it would make you smarter and it would make you like God. Like, they still think it'll make them like God. And I'm like, we already are dingleberries. We already are. Like, this is why I mean men shouldn't be doing magic. It's like, and again, like, I kind of want to exclude, like, more animistic men that were born in more shamanic, animistic cultures that were in tune with nature, okay? Because there's still a few, sadly, very few men who get the privilege of growing up in that type of environment. I mean a true privilege, like a true gift, not this monetary privilege bullshit that makes you a tool. But I mean the opportunity to grow up in a world where women help men navigate, and you have that divine spark fully awake within you from a very young age. And most of these men that, like, are doing this stuff, it's like they're wanting so bad to learn enough to be like God, or to control God, or to control their fate, or to control the things around them. And the whole time, like, they can't see what's inside of them, and they become dark and soulless, and they don't even know it till it's too late. But anyway, I am, like, absolutely stunned, and yet not at all, that men would think that it's okay to worship something that equates lust with love. Like, the Enki thing makes me so sick. Like, if you were to listen to some video or podcast too, a very long time ago, where I talked about those two beings that are always coming in my dreams, he reminds me of the one that was always in trouble. Like, I'm pretty sure, I'm like, maybe those two beings I always dreamt of were basically the Enki and Enlil, right? And I wouldn't say that Enlil's necessarily good, but at least he believes in law and order. It doesn't mean the law and order benefits us. It doesn't mean it benefits the planet. It means it benefits his own, which is just a different form of what we would call evil, but maybe where he comes from is not. But, like, Enki has betrayed everybody, okay? He's betrayed his own, and he's betrayed us. Because he's fucked his kids, alright? That's not okay. And I don't think that he created us. I really don't. I think that's a fabricated lie. Go ahead and believe it if you want. I like to say a lot. I could be wrong. Now, do I think they've tweaked our DNA? Oh, hell yeah. I think they've tweaked our DNA so badly. I think they've fucked us up so much. And here's the thing, though, okay? If we've been around as literally Homo sapiens for hundreds of thousands of years, but these Sumerian stories aren't that old, okay? In the grand scheme of things, they're only a couple thousand years old. To me, that sounds like these are latecomers, okay? What are they going to do? Just come back and say, no, we made y'all 300,000 years ago, and then we're just coming back and retelling the story and all this stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. It sounds to me more like we were doing our own thing, having our own jam, and then these guys come along and they're like, yo, what's up? We're going to use you now. You're a bitch. Now lay down and bend over and let me stick my dick inside of you. Okay? Like, I don't think it was ever good, and I don't think he was the original creator. I'm sorry. I mean, if you look at, like, even what we are doing, all the things that we quote-unquote create, we don't really create either. We just tweak things too. Like, we might be making buildings, but we didn't create the iron. We might be making, like, clones and like new species of animals and plants, but we didn't really create them. We're just, like, tweaking them and altering them, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of what these guys did. And if you were to also listen to the same one, I think it was talking about alien technology was the one where I went into some of this. But, like, I feel like, the Book of Enoch has some pretty valid points in, like, fallen angels, and I know people don't believe in that stuff anymore as much as just thinking, oh, it's their interpretation of aliens. I'm like, I don't know, man. Because even if they are aliens and not angels, it's still highly possible that they fell for a reason. Like, they were here for a reason. Like, as in the story of some of them being here for an extended period because they got in some deep trouble. And there are some stories in the kind of more alien communities that do talk about them being forced to stay here for a while and not being able to leave the planet. There's so many different variations of stories, who knows. But I just feel like all he did was really tweak our DNA to fit his needs, to basically enslave the human race, and he still fucked us. And the reason why that makes me mad is if the Enki and Enlil are who they say they are like almost like demigods, right? Like they're almost like semi-immortal. Like they could probably die, and they probably need to. You know, like there's probably about time that we just wash our hands clean of it and get rid of them. Which is probably why they hate me, which is probably why I've been shut up so much. Because he knew I was gonna say this stuff before I did. Because he's an asshole, okay? Like, you don't, like, go and find, like, a 2-year-old stepdaughter and, like, fuck her, okay? And this sounds vulgar? Go ahead and call me the vulgar one. Why is nobody talking about the elephant in the room here? I'm stating the obvious, okay? Like, do you go and, like, fuck your dog? Do you go and find a sweet little sad animal out there that is not nearly as evolved or technologically or logically as advanced as you? It can't live as long as you, and put your dick inside of it. No, that's a big no. You know, that's why the Bible went into so many details of what men cannot put their dicks inside. Not because they were homophobic as much as if they didn't say it, men would put their dicks in everything. The goats, the aunts, the uncles, you name it. Like, there's nothing they wouldn't put it in, okay? Because men are just like that when they're horny. There's so many low-vibing dudes. If that's what Enki is, what the hell? He's supposed to be, like, all advanced and shit, and yet he just, like, whips it out. Falls madly in love, but, like, oh, she died. Let me go find a new one to fall in love with? You call that love? Like, no. No, that's not love, boo-boo. That is lust. That is being a pervert. That is taking advantage of things that do not have the ability to give consent. Like, they don't even have the awareness of who you are or what you're doing. Anyway, I don't know. It is so creepy. It's beyond creepy to me. The insane amount of, like, men, okay, like, I know the TikTok witches and stuff may creep some of y'all out, but y'all aren't even seeing the whole underground movement of men that are worshiping Lucy and trying to do all this magic. And, you know, used to be just confined to, like, the Hermetic Brotherhoods and stuff, but now it's like every Tom, Dick, and Harry is, like, got a hairy dick, and they're all trying to Lucy it up, you know, and they think they're going to get the chicks and all this stuff now, and I don't know, apparently it's love, I guess. Whatever. But if you know them by their fruit, and you've researched enough, you know that most Luciferian cults are also part of the ruling class, and they like to drink baby's blood and stuff, you know? So, like, okay. So that's a good thing. That's knowledge. That's wisdom. That's evolving. That's illumination, is to, like, you know, sacrifice adrenochrome. Like, I don't know. Like, when did that become good? Like, I know, you know, all the Christians are like, oh, we've been telling y'all this is going to happen. Things are going to go topsy-turvy. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all are freaking nuts, too. Like, they're crazy, too. So it's like, you know, what is it? The Joker on the left and the whatever on the right? Like, I'm stuck in the middle with these nuts, you know? It's very, very disturbing. And I think, like, I've already kind of been, I don't know how to do it delicately enough, because I feel really bad for women, but, you know, women kind of do it with Lilith, and, like, Lilith isn't what they think she is. She's not this sad first Eve. Dude, the Jewish people made that up, like, you know, a long time after. It was just a desert demon, you know, that especially tortured women, young women. And that's because this desert demon is in love with Enki, okay? They're buddies. Like, they're together. They're like a thing. And it's like, I had that dream of both of them so long ago. And I remember wondering, like, I knew that I'd seen the male being many times. But the one dream I had with the woman who was, like, she married, like a king, you know, like a Henry VIII type of king. I don't know who it was. I don't remember. All I remember is that I was like a I was a little girl, and I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I've had the dream. So I was like, I think I had the red hair and she had blonde hair. I can't remember. I just remember that she looked at me and called me Lilith, and she said it like, I knew it wasn't, like in the dream I knew that wasn't my name. I knew it was her name, but she was trying to like turn the tables and make me the bad person, and somehow she made everyone in the whole kingdom think that I was the bad person, and it was her the whole time, like evil. And if you look at the stories of Lilith, go all the way back, everything I already know. Like, but I didn't know it was a desert demon is where the name originated from. But, you know, in the same dream, it's like all of a sudden switched and it was me. Like who I am now. And I was in this strange place where it's like it was just dry and dead, but there was no wind, no air. It was like still, like where there's you couldn't breathe. It was just so still and hot and dead. And you could hear the crackling, and yet you couldn't, you know, and all the dirt was like cracked, like the way you see when like those deserts where it had gotten wet and then it dries and cracks. It wasn't like dry loose sand, it was just like cracked, like stuck together and cracked everywhere, and a couple of sparse dead trees, and that was it. And then she comes out with him on a broom. I've never had a dream of like a witch on a broom before. But he was on the front of the room, she was on the back, and she was like pointing at me, and they were coming to get me or whatever, and they both had their true form, which is very ugly and very demonic. And when I look at all of this stuff together, it's like I know that both of them, like, they're really ugly on the inside. They are. And I know the reason why I said I almost want to put that delicately is because how many women are like putting Lilith as like this pedestal of the dark feminine? I'm like, that's not the one, honey. That's not it. Like, she's known to torture young women. She tortures them, okay? If you want to look for dark feminine that actually does stand up for feminine values in the Ferocious Mother, look at the Morrigan, or look at Kaliak, or look at Urzuli Dantor or something, you know? Like, don't go to the one that wants to destroy you, because she hates young, beautiful women. She's so jealous and so envious. Why? Because her man is fucking all of them. That's why. Okay? She's jealous and envious of every pretty woman because she knows she can't keep her man's pants on. I mean, I really do think that that's it. Now, like, I understand you can laugh at me and say I'm full of it, but you can't say that you're right either. I mean, come on. The stories, like the excuses of like Lucifer worship, like, are you out of your mind? Like, really? Like, and I know a lot of them say that Yahweh is really Enlil and that he's a trickster god and stuff. And I do want to read more into that, but I actually think that that's wrong too. I'm not saying that there isn't a Yahweh that's a trickster god, but just hear me out. I feel like Michael is Enlil, and nobody talks about this. Everyone makes Enlil like Michael or maybe Jesus. I think it's Michael, because I know like a lot of people won't equate Michael with the eagle, but I feel like that makes the most sense. It just does. The eagle and the serpent fighting each other, and you see like Michael, you know, fighting the dragon. I feel like what we think is an Archangel Michael is really Enlil, and I don't think that it necessarily makes him good still. I think the Yahweh deity that people think of as a desert god and a trickster god, I feel like there's moments when that happened for sure, but I don't think always, because the great creator has always been with us, always shall be, always will be. Like, he speaks to all of us, right? But you can almost tell, like, if you were to read the Bible and read like other ancient texts, some of which made it in the Bible, some didn't. Some of them that didn't make it in the Bible are just so, I don't know if it was the Book of Jubilees or what, but it's like, you can almost tell that it's fabricated and not like made up by some weirdo, you know? And what I mean by that is like, does your intuition or alarm bells go off? Like, yes, if you've been groomed and conditioned by religion, you may have to really, you know, take a step back, because, you know, you don't want like your grooming or conditioning to replace your intuition, right? Because that is kind of like eating from the tree of knowledge too, even if it's religion, because you're letting something else be your conscience. But like, when I read the Book of Enoch, I didn't feel like that. I did not feel like I was being deceived the way I did when I tried to read the Book of Jubilees and things, right? But there is a part in the Book of Enoch where I even think Enoch was deceived, or whoever we interpret it. Some people say that it's written by more than one person, but like, there's one part where he goes on and on and on about these certain valleys, and it's if you get to hear the one I recorded about, like, being able to tell fake channels or trickster spirits where people are trying to channel. I don't even know if I got to make this point. I wanted to so bad, but I think I might have gone off because being the queen of rabbit holes and all. And the point is that, if it starts to get repetitive, well, first off, let me say that when you channel things, I think I kind of made this point, but I didn't go as deep as I wanted, is you don't tell spirits, hey, come channel through me now. Like, when you see people say, I'm calling the council or Theo or Bashar, like, that's not how it works. Not with good spirits, not with real spirits, not with real guides. They don't just jump in you on command and start channeling for you. No, but trickster spirits are always ready, okay? They are dying to feed off of you because they have no connection to source. So any person who's going to raise their hand and say, hey, you want to do a Ouija today? Or, you want to channel with me today or do some automatic writing? You're like, oh, I'm here. Because they need the energy, okay? And there was at one point where Enoch kept on going, like, on and on and on, and repetitively describing these valleys. And then he would be like, and it would sound almost exactly the same. And then it would be like, oh, and this is where, the fallen angels will be locked up. And over and over and over and over again. The words might be slightly different, but almost the same thing. And I was like, okay, so either some person was like drunk and kept writing the same part over and over again, or like, if that's actually what he was channeling, he was trying to channel something that wasn't what he normally channeled, and he was channeling some kind of trickster spirit. And it was like, this is why you don't just sit down, because I think that's another thing I didn't get to. I didn't go deep enough to make that point, was that, when I was really good at channeling, I mean, I still can, but I just opt not to as much as possible, but unless I really feel moved to, right? Because that's how you get the most purified, genuine channeling moments. Not by trying to make it happen. Like, that's when they're fake, okay? But it's like when I used to try to sit down and do it all the time, that was when I would get these types of spirits. It'd be what you see, that lady who channels Mary Magdalene and the council and all of these other Archangel Michael and things. Like, they all, the things that they say are so vague and repetitive and irritating that when I realized I was getting those, I know I did mention that I would test the spirits and things, but it's like, I don't have that problem if I don't try to sit down and channel every day or try to make things happen. And I feel like Enoch was getting to that point in his life where he was doing that, and so he got stuck on this loop, It was just irritating. But anyway, I just feel like, I know there's some other texts I was going to refer to too when it comes to like these stories, I guess, over like Michael and like, how they refer to Michael as a prince, not as an angel in the Bible, at least some of the older books I read. And I know, the Dead Sea Scrolls have found a lot of these books, like very, very old books, and unlike a lot of the Gospels, which are like, written a long time after Jesus died, including the Gnostic ones. So it's not like it was just the Gospels that are canonized. It's like all of them could be fabrications, to be honest. They all could be fan fictions. I mean, they did the same thing with the Norse gods. It's like, as much as I love the idea of like, getting in touch with my Norse roots, it's like most of what was written about like Odin and Tyr and Thor and everyone else is made up. And a lot of the heathens today, the neo-pagan heathens, just want to believe all of it. And I'm like, they're just like fireside stories. They're just, they're tales. They're not like, it's fan fiction. Like, it wasn't even written during the time of their worship. So I don't know why y'all take it so like serious, but they do. Anyway, I don't know. I guess from from my dreams, from the personalities of the way these beings are described, I really feel like Michael would be Enlil and Lucifer would be Enki. And how much you want to bet I'm right? Like, I know that sounds silly, but like down the road, let's see what happens if these guys start showing up more and more. If they're even still around in more than just spirit form. Like, I know from what I was listening to on that same alien tech thing, it's very likely that they don't really want to be here. Like, they might actually be avoiding coming to this planet because they don't want to be trapped here. So they just kind of like, you know, come through telepathy or send messages or whatever, or like, you know, try to bring us to them in some way, or an astral or something. Anyway, I don't know. It's like, I know I come off so strong. I feel so bad because, like, I know I use so many F-bombs and it sounds so gross, but it's like, look, like, I don't know. Before I did social work, I probably wouldn't have believed how much incest and nasty stuff was going on in the South. I used to, like, kind of be like, oh God, why does Hollywood always show that about the South, right? And I'm like, I know it goes on everywhere, but I've seen enough where it's like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm desensitized to it a little bit, even though I'm still completely disgusted and I have to disassociate to think about it, right? But it's just like, I have the ovaries to talk about it, but like, society always tries to hide things in the dark that they don't want to talk about, but then they sit there and talk about being illuminated and wanting to learn knowledge, and it's like, but you won't face what's right in front of you, the elephant in the room, you know? It's always like that. Like, it's one reason why I left social work is because, like, the people I work for, they couldn't handle it to the extent where they would literally pretend it's not there and let kids get abused, because, like, I know part of it is probably they're covering up trafficking and they don't want to end up stumbling into something and getting in trouble, so I'm just like, okay, but go torture a mom and, like, you know, put her on a permanent naughty list where she can't even get a lot of jobs because you found out her kid hit a vape when she wasn't there because she was working. Like, you know, they'll go target parents for that, but, you know, other stuff, no. There's pedophile rapists roaming around all over the place where I live that they're not even registered sex offenders, and they've been caught red-handed by the law. Nothing happens to them. And it's just like, I guess, even though I know it sounds so gross, it's like, why is there just this obsession right now? It's like the counterculture obsession, you know? People want so bad to, like, sock it to the man, sock it to the Christians that hurt me, because I know I had, you know, Christian men hurt me and rape me and things, you know, but Jesus didn't do it to me. Now, I'm not going to be like I said, I don't like being associating with being a Christian, because I believe in the Bhagavad Gita and everything. I think it's beautiful work too, and I think a lot of what Jesus said and did was almost like third grade compared to a lot of Hinduism that already existed. That would be more like going to college, you know? It's like the things that we have left of what they claim Jesus taught is so elementary compared to what they already had in other parts of the world. So, I don't know. I'm like, equating him with knowledge and love and creating and everything, it's just, to me, it doesn't add up. It just doesn't. You can't tell me that he loves me, but then he also wants to bang me. I'm sorry. You know, maybe I should use the word bangs. I'm not using F-bombs all the time, but it irritates me, you know, because I've had that same thing in dreams, that same creeper in dreams, and he always acts like he's stalking me too. Like, he's always, like, haunting me, and he's jealous and irritable, and it irks me. Like, the very vibes of this thing is like, I don't know, it's like, we're not allowed to be free. It's not love. Love doesn't bind. Love doesn't, like, make you feel trapped. It doesn't, like, you know, use you up. It doesn't, like, have envy or anything like that. Like, I mean, there can be a kind of jealousy in love that's a beautiful form, but not, this is just seems oppressive. Everything about Enki seems very oppressive. Like, he's using the human race and then wants to be worshipped. a participation trophy for tweaking the human DNA and then, lusting after it like a rabid dog, just drooling all over the place, like no self-control whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. I would almost side with Enlil more, except the dreams that I've had is they work together. I don't care what people say. Like, people can think that they're at odds with each other, but it's like, even in the Bible, the amount of times they refer to like the adversary or Satan, like talking in heaven with the other beings. And I know some people have brought this up with the whole Enki Lilith thing. And the amount of times, like, it refers in the end of like him being cast out of the heavens. It sounds like he's going to be thrown out of his realm and basically sent to earth, right? It all sounds like they spend an awful lot of time together. And I know with a lot of the Enki and Lilith stories, I think they have at moments, but I just feel like neither one really do care about what's best for us, And I know a lot of people have brought this up in the community that have read more of these things about them, that apparently the great creator even told them to leave us alone and let us work out our own destiny. And I feel like, yeah, that would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be nice. Like, I'm pretty sure he's been telling you guys that since before you ever bothered us. I don't know. I just don't like being messed with, or the idea of being like us women being used and, baby mills for someone and then calling that love. It's just so insulting. And it's even more insulting that men think that that's love. They think that's a good creator God that wants to make a bunch of random women his wifeys. It's like, okay, is that how you really feel? Like, is that what you want to do with us too? If you were God, is that what you would want? Because, I mean, are you admitting that you think that love is just basically, humping whoever you feel like, looks good today? Like, no. And the way they dramatically call it, oh, he loved them so much, and he fought to not have them destroyed and begged, don't have them, he loved them so much. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it. I mean, pedophiles also beg not to have their children and nephews and nieces taken from them because they need that hookup too. Like, I'm sorry. No, it doesn't make it good. It does not make it good. It's still so wrong on so many levels. There's no way that that's good. It just makes me, I'm absolutely disgusted that men justify this. Even more so when women do. It's like, you're the same kind of woman that reads 50 Shades of Grey, right? And like, when you hear the word submissive, you think of like BDSM or whatever, and like you want it because you want to not want it. You want men to want you and you want to resist it. Like, have you never been raped? You're so not wanted. Like, you don't know what it's like to honestly be, in non-consensual situations. Like, it's really sad because when you're the side piece and you're desperate and you're a hoe, it's like, yeah, guys don't want you. It's true. Like, when you act super desperate and you go to strip clubs with them and you watch porn with them and stuff, no guy wants you. It's like, you're the side piece. You're the one that they go to when the girls are chasing are busy, okay? Or when they made them mad. It's like, no respectable woman is going to treat herself that way. But there's a lot of sad, lonely women that are just as low vibrational as men, and they don't understand the difference in between love and lust because they are lonely old hags. Like, they have nothing better to do with their time. And it's because they're not wanted. They have nothing men want. Even though men chase after us with lust and everything, they don't like chasing the hoes. They just don't. They want to chase the ones that have a spark in their eyes, that seem like they have some divinity in them, that seem to have their own passion, their own drive, their own, like, the more that I am like looking somewhere else, the more that men would chase me. The more that I was passionate about archaeology or Egyptology or anything at all, the more men wanted me. Do you think they cared about the things I cared about? No. Do you think they cared about me? No. Do you think they love me? No. It's just the spark you have in you when you really love something, when you have a passion for life, that drives men wild. Okay? So when women like literally think, oh, well, if I just sell out and be all the things that men want, You know what I mean? It's like they almost prefer non-consensual, which is sad. It's like they want you to be a Stepford wife that doesn't want to be one because you're busy chasing your PhD, but you drop out because you love him more. Like, I don't know. I know that sounds messed up, but it's like, I mean, there are women that are really good at being the perfect wife, but even in that, it's not like, how would you call it? I would think of more like my grandmother, who was like, who genuinely was virtuous. Like, she wasn't like a robotic perfect wife. She was a genuinely virtuous, beautiful woman. And she had a massive spark. And she always did have the drive to create her own things, to create her own art, and to decorate her own home. So it wasn't like she was empty. She was drop dead gorgeous from the inside out. But, you know, she was a dedicated wife for sure. And it was everything my grandfather could ever hope for. But, I mean, in reality, like, no. Like, men are not going to want you to be Mrs., like, you know, Lucifer worshiper. I'm sorry. I know that you may be getting what you want right now by doing that, but he's probably not going to be there for you, like, 5 or 10 years from now. Like, I don't know. I'm just, like, I know it's, like, so ranty, right? I guess, because, like, I'm still, like, not, like, I don't have the time really to be diving super deep into this at this second, because I got so much going on, so many other things. I'm really more wanting to put together all the pieces with all the deities, like, where they all kind of match yet don't. You know how, like, both Odin and Horus both had, like, a missing eye, right? And then you look at, like, Papa Legba and Odin. Like, they both are known as kind of, like, somewhat tricksters, and, like, they like to appear as old, like, feeble men, like, with, like, these hats, and, like, they like to test the way people treat them when they look like they're not, you know, don't have anything to offer. And then the way you treat the old man kind of might dictate what happens to you, you know? I mean, Papa Legba and Odin have a lot of, like, both deal with crossroads stuff, and, like, I don't know. I really do wonder if there isn't certain entities that are, like, you know, they'll transform their race based on who they're with and how they reveal themselves, you know? Like, I do think that there is a higher version. There's many, like, even indigenous, like, stories of the creator god also being a trickster. And I wouldn't equate that with Enlil or Enki. I would say, and I know people say, oh, well, Yahweh is just a stupid trickster god. And I'm like, well, at some point, there is a level, because since we're all one and tricksters love to use that against us, yes, there are just tricksters, but the creator's even in them, and that's the catch, and that's how they can use it and be like, oh, well, I am the creator. It's like, you know, they don't have the right to say it, and yet the creator is in them, so technically they are and they aren't. But it's like, I don't know, there's so many pieces that I'm just looking at. Like, I know a long time ago I used to look at the correlations between Osiris and Krishna, but I didn't have access to the information. I just had that kind of pull to it, you know, back before you could just whip up the internet, because I didn't have smartphones, like the early 2000s, and only, like, people with money had it then. Anyway, I'm at my destination, so I'll wrap things up. Talk to you next time.